Alright, let's see how well I can do at making my own video. Hey everyone, so due to the coronavirus and the quarantining, I have had a massive struggle with trying to get my own projects done and continuing things. It'd be really easy to just be like, you know what I'm gonna do, just watch movies and sit and read books or play video games. And while I have been doing a lot of that, I wanted to try to branch out and try something different. So I said, F it, I'm gonna try doing something that I've always wanted to do and that I've always talked about doing but never had the opportunity. I love getting on Twitter and social media and talking about the independent films that sort of inspire me and keep me wanting to make movies. And there's a lot of them out there. There is some fantastic stuff being made, truly independent movies that are kind of kicking ass. And I know it can be really difficult for these movies to get seen and find their audience. So I figured, why not take this opportunity to talk about some of these movies and make a video series where I can recommend some of my favorite independent movies I've seen recently. With my movie The Good Exorcist releasing and being about a priest and being sort of goofy, I had a lot of people recommending the movie VelociPastor to me. I saw the trailer, it looked fun, it looked goofy, but I just never had the opportunity.
That's insane, Doug. God does not want people dead.
I finally decided to sit down and watch it, and man, was I into it. This is the kind of popcorn, silly parody film that you just don't see very often anymore. It's the kind of movie that in the world, everyone is taking it seriously, and the characters are taking it very seriously, but we as an audience get to just laugh and have a blast. I literally spit my coffee out as I watched a sequel.
Where are those images coming from?
They followed me home.
And that doesn't happen very often, even from the funniest comedies. The synopsis for the movie is, after losing his parents, a priest travels to China where he inherits mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use this power to fight crime and ninjas. Brendan Steere, the director, has taken a concept that's so silly and so stupid and made it something so fun and enjoyable to watch. He told Dread Central that it was based on an autocorrect on his phone. He tried to type Velociraptor and it came out VelociPastor, and the dude just rolled with this. In 2011, he made a trailer that he went around with and pitched the idea of the VelociPastor, and eventually became this amazing little feature film. It's the kind of movie that you watch and you see the shoestring budget, you see how they're cutting corners and doing fun stuff, and they even write it into the script. The movie opens with an explosion that you never see but you know exists, and the way they do it, it instantly sets the movie up as grindhouse parody. And that's really challenging to do because grindhouse movies sometimes end up being ridiculous, but not self-aware of how ridiculous they are. This looks cheap, and in the best way possible. Every minute of this movie, you watch it and just know that they're having a blast making it. That's the kind of movie that I like to watch, a movie where I can feel the fun of the filmmaking. The movie stars Gregory James Cohen, Alyssa Kempinski, and Aurelio Voltaire, and they all did such a great job. Plus, Daniel Steere, Brendan Steere's own dad, plays the father priest in the movie, and he steals the show. He's so fun to watch. He just lives as this character and takes it so seriously, and I absolutely love that about it. When I cast my mom in Greywood's plot, I wanted to push her to say things and do things that she wasn't going to be necessarily comfortable doing. I could tell that Daniel Steere was sort of in the same thing. Brendan and him were just having fun with it. Gregory James Cohen just kills in this movie too. He takes every moment so seriously, even if he's doing something absolutely ridiculous, like waking up on the floor covered in a pile of newspapers, or running through the woods with dinosaur hands. What? Because he takes the role so seriously, it makes you care about this character so much more. A lot of movies like this end up feeling like they're mostly filler, or they have a couple of good punchlines. I can't help but compare this concept to something like Sharknado. What Sharknado does is take a ridiculous concept, but then get lost in what it is and fill time, and you're left just kind of waiting for moments to play out in hopes that something fun and ridiculous will happen. This, on the other hand, consistently hits the mark of knowing when to move on and when to get more ridiculous. It's just an amalgamation of ridiculous things that each moment continues the story forward and continues this ridiculous plot line moving. At a brisk 70 minutes, this movie never wears out its welcome. It just continuously moves forward. And I think this works because, like Brendan Steere told Pop Horror, the basic recipe for a joke is that it is an absurd reversal of an expectation. To me, that's what this movie consistently does well. I expect it to go one direction, and it goes a completely different direction. When the scene is playing out extremely seriously, you'll notice something really goofy in the background happen, and it doesn't force down your throat. And that subversion of expectation makes you just love it even more, or laugh harder because you didn't see it coming. I also found it fascinating this was actually his second film. Brendan Steere had done a feature called Animosity, and he told Pop Horror that it was his first film school thesis. He said, "I was one of the only 2 students who went for a feature that year because of hubris, but I figured that if we had the whole year to shoot something, it was crazy to not go for a feature, because I didn't know when I'd have the opportunity to do so again." I love this about Brendan Steere, the fact that he's obviously just going for it. Whether it's a very serious horror film, Animosity, or a ridiculous dinosaur priest film, he goes for it. He goes all in and pushes himself. The love that he has for the process and learning. You can see in both of his movies how he's learning from the process and trying to do something better. The way he has a love for the craft but doesn't take it too seriously and allows the audience to be a part of the filmmaking process with him. VelociPastor is the kind of movie that you feel like you should be watching with an audience, and it's probably more fun to get together with a group of people. And because it's available on Amazon Prime, Vudu, and you can pick it up at thevelocipastor.com, you can sit down with your friends and check out right now. But I watched the movie by myself. I was laughing out loud. I was completely sucked in. I never once checked my phone while watching this movie, and that says a lot. But this is the type of movie that just sucked me in, and I didn't want to look away. I think that's the way to view it. Yeah, it'd be great to see it with an audience, and if there is a potential to call out to your local film community and say, like, hey, can we do a screening of VelociPastor at your local Alamo Draft House, or on your Saturday midnight movie event that you have. That's a great way to watch this movie, but I really do think that this works as a solo watch as well, and cannot recommend VelociPastor enough. Make sure to follow VelociPastor on Twitter and Brendan Steere on Twitter and other social media. They're consistently posting fun behind-the-scenes photos and fun facts about the film that allow you to see some inside scoop on how the movie was made, or things that you maybe wouldn't have known if you just watched the movie. If you need some brevity from all of the politics and the news and everything happening right now, I cannot recommend VelociPastor more. Check it out.